Hello and welcome to a very special live stream. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you can see and hear us well enough. It's a little bit echoey in here, but we'll go into more of why that is in a second. It's going to be a fairly casual live stream tonight. Don't forget you can ask questions down in the comment section of whichever page you're following. I can see there's people already going there. But what we are going to do is actually run through some questions that have been immortized from what people have sent us in. A lot has been sent in. We've got a lot to go through as well. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. If the stream does glitch or go down any time, just wait a couple of minutes. We will be back. The software we use means we don't get entirely kicked off. I hope, and we'll find our way back onto this. You can also go back into this live stream at any time and watch it again. We're going to leave this live permanently, particularly on YouTube. Now, lots of people saying hi. Probably a good reminder that we've got a couple of door prizes today. So if you do like this stream or comment, we will take down your name and you'll go on the draw for 2 ChargeNet $50 charging vouchers. So thank you very much to ChargeNet for handing that over. And we've got another little prize that we'll go into shortly as well. Now, I'll introduce to you my colleagues here to my left. Always have fun with that on the camera. First, we have Warren Willmot, who's the brand manager for BYD Auto New Zealand. Thanks for joining us, Warren.
Very welcome, thank you.
And over on the far side, and thank you for letting us use your wonderful facility, we have Matthew Wells, who's the dealer principal of Andrew Sims in Newmarket, and you guys are going to be the BYD Auto dealer for Auckland.
Absolutely, we are, Rich, and thank you for coming and joining us in our soon-to-be new showroom here.
Fantastic. Let's talk about this a little bit first. We'll give Warren the chance to relax for a second or two. I mean, you must be really excited to get BYD in as a brand.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've been following BYD for quite some time. I mean, I think BYD is going to be a real success in the New Zealand market, and having Atto pick up the brand is really positive for us because we've had a really long-term relationship with the Atto group, and we're really confident in them as a distributor for the brand. So for us to be able to come on board and open a flagship dealership in Central Auckland for them, it's really exciting for us, and we think the potential for this brand in New Zealand is phenomenal.
And tell us about this facility, because for a new brand, it is a bit of an investment to put a retail experience, I guess you'd call it, right in the middle of Broadway. I mean, this is some of New Zealand's most expensive retail property, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think without trying to blow Warren's trumpet too much, it probably is the fact that Atto are involved that we're prepared to make the investment. So. $300,000 or $400,000 to a very significant fit out and making it, what we like to call a retail store. It's not the traditional dealership. It's not, the big corner site with the service operation and big showrooms. It is a high-end boutique retail store, so we can deliver a really positive experience to our owners. And it's what we're seeing globally with the EV transition is, these change dealerships and this retail type store. But we're really fortunate here that we're directly opposite Westfield Newmarket. We're sort of right at the edge of the car zone and right at the start of the retail precinct.
Mm-hmm. And this is to a BYD global formula, I think, this space?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix, actually. Yeah. So BYD have their own corporate image, and we're following along the lines of the BYD Australia Experience Centre. So we've got this lovely brick behind us. So we call it like New York loft style, and a lot of our dealerships will follow this forming.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. So it's the architect firm RCG. They've done the work for us. Have done a spectacular job. They actually went and had a look at the BYD showroom in Australia, in Sydney, to just see how they did it and get some design cues. And I think they've really just hit the nail on the head with the fit out and the finish for us.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know when we've had a certain other brand which has had a very popular EV in the market and they had to deliver big volumes of cars, some people ended up picking their cars up from basically a car delivery yard out south. Is that going to happen here? I mean, are you guys going to give people the full delivery experience, which I think from my experience is kind of one of the great bits about buying a new car?
Absolutely, Richard. I mean, we've had a look at what that process is that some of the other brands have been using, and I think we've got a really big advantage in that, we already are a very large group. We're already selling and delivering around, 850 cars a month, sometimes a little bit more. So we've got the infrastructure and the back end to be able to prepare the cars in a timely fashion and to do a proper delivery experience. So, be it from our Newmarket showroom or another site, we will be doing the full vehicle delivery. Obviously, we don't have a service operation here. We'll be running that for our existing infrastructure, but we have a team of fully qualified electric vehicle technicians who are able to prepare the cars, and then we'll have our sales team and our delivery consultants able to do a full, proper handover like you would expect from a traditional car dealership. So it really is trying to be a little bit of a hybrid between what we're seeing some of these other large EV brands do and that traditional dealership experience.
Mm-hmm. Right, well, Warren, brace yourself. We're nearly to you. But first, let's just take a quick little look at this dealership. We've got a little digital video of the concept, and people can see what they can expect when they come in to pick up or order their new BYD. Right, so that's a really cool looking dealership. Now let's kick on with the questions, and just so that people understand how this is going to work, we've actually had a lot of questions, dozens, come in via email prior. I've got a list of them here. I'm going to run through them and we'll combine a few, jump around. Basically, I'll interview Warren a little bit and get out that information you guys are really after. I'm not sure it'll be any particular order, but we'll work to it. And then at the end, once we've got through that, we'll go back to the feed and run through if anything that hasn't been answered. We can work from there. But we're going to start with one little question first, and that comes back to the prize we were discussing before, Warren, this extra prize.
Yes.
So there's a $100 Prezi card on the table.
Yes, I'll give away $100.
Yes.
Yep.
And this comes back down to a question that we had come through, and that someone didn't particularly like the car having "Build Your Dreams" across the back of the car. So tell us about your.
Hey, well, look, the cars do have "Build Your Dreams" stamped across the back. We're very proud of that. We do know that styling's probably not for everybody, and we do understand some people will probably like to take their lettering off. Nothing I can do about that. You can do what you want with your car. But in the spirit of that, there are a lot of letters there, and those letters can be rearranged. So I'll put $100 down. Whoever comes up with the best anagram for "Build Your Dreams," leave the comments below in the video, in the comment. Leave your comment in the section below, and Richard, we have them 24 hours. You can pull out the winner. I will just ask, of course, that you keep it PG and non-derogatory. But $100 for the best anagram of "Build Your Dreams." We'll see what we can come up with.
Those letters on the back, I personally think it looks good, and I'll keep my when I get my hands on, I like it to keep it there. But they're about a heat gun away from being removed, aren't they, if you really don't like them?
Yeah, hey, look, the dealers can arrange it. We all, of course, being a representative of the brand, we're very proud of it. We wouldn't like to see the letters coming off, but hey, people are going to do what they're going to do, and hey, let's have some fun with it.
Plenty of people debadge their BMWs.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so we're going to go to the first important point, which was the announcement today of the pricing. So tell us what the pricing is of the car.
All right, so we are bringing in 2 models of the Atto 3. We'll eventually have some more models next year, but we have 2 battery sizes. So we have a 50 kilowatt battery version and we have a 60 kilowatt battery version. The 50 kilowatt is $52,990 plus on-road costs, including GST, and of course you get your EV clean car rebate back from that. And then you've got the 60 kilowatt, which is $57,990.
And is that on the road, or is there a delivery fee on top of that?
So there are on-road costs, which each dealer has their own on-road costs depending on what they're putting in the car, whether it's formats, it's your registration, that's your full charge, your groom, and delivery as well. So there's a number of factors that go into that.
People have asked you to get a little bit closer to the mic.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry,
There you
guys.
go. Hopefully that's better, Alex. You can let us know. Now, I think those are actually pretty good pricing. I mean, you're talking about a car there that the Atto 3 is significantly bigger than the MG3, sorry, the MGZ SCV. Try to avoid talking about other cars too much, but it's only a couple of grand more.
That's right.
And I think more range and quite a lot of other features.
Hey, look, MG is a great car, and I don't like to spend too much time talking about other people's product, but the Atto 3 is a very high quality car. It's not a cheap car. We've decided to bring it in at a price point to make it affordable for New Zealand, and I really call it a value proposition car. So if you're looking at similar cars in the market, I think you need to look to the other Chinese manufactured cars. One with a Swedish brand, one that comes from America. The level of tech and spec on that car is absolutely incredible, and we're very fortunate to be able to bring it in at the price that we are.
Mm-hmm. I looked at the extended range, and it is kind of largely spec for spec. It feels like it's having a little bit of a crack at the Model 3. I mean, is that fair?
Well, I actually have not been in a Model 3 myself, but I have a look around one. Look, we've spec'd it as highly as we can, and we understand this is a new brand. People don't know BYD in New Zealand. And we've also decided to partner with Kiwi-owned dealerships and go through a dealership model so the customer has an excellent buying experience. So they can turn up to a business like Andrew Sims, who are a well-known car dealer, who have a very large infrastructure. They have support teams behind them. They have a place to go if they have a problem. And all that factors into the price, of course. So we only partner with Kiwi-owned dealerships, so all profits remain in New Zealand. And our customers, if they've got a problem, they've got somebody that they can talk to.
Now that's the marketing spiel. I am going to challenge you a little bit on this because that's my job. Well, challenge you. I'll just put some facts on the table. I had someone online who quite rightly was saying that putting out this car they felt was a lot more expensive than in China.
Yeah, hey, look, well, China's a different market, right? China is a very large market. There's like 400 car brands there. They sell 27 million cars a year roughly, and they have different spec over there. So cars are spec'd for each market. It depends on how. I've seen some of the comments today on some of the social media channels. You've really got to compare apples for apples. So in China, they've got government subsidies, they've got different tax rates, you've got obviously shipping, we've got foreign exchange. And there's a whole lot of factors that come into it.
Is it the same car? Is it built on a dedicated production line for Australia and New Zealand? I mean, is there any difference?
Yes, so in China, there's actually 550,000 back orders for BYD products at the moment. We are very fortunate to get production for a right-hand drive market. So BYD have decided to come into Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, and they've supported us with a dedicated production line.
Yep. The thing I might just chip in there, Richard, that from what Warren was talking about is when you look at the price point of products in different markets, is the right-hand drive market is a very, very small part of the global car industry, and to do price comparability over left-hand drive is really somewhat unfair because there's significant development costs in redeveloping a car for the right-hand drive market, and those costs need to be put over a significantly less number of vehicles, to make it worthwhile for both the manufacturer and the distributor and the retailer. So we do have a much smaller number of vehicles than a left-hand drive equivalent vehicle would have to get rid of those development costs.
Let's actually work with some solid figures here so people can understand and put it into good context. Firstly, we speak to the Australian price. I'm not sorry, I don't have them in front of me. You may recall them, Warren, but I think someone was pointing out it's like 4 or 5% difference by the time you do the exchange.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more, but people forget that Australia only has 10% GST.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're at 15%. Yeah. We've got foreign exchange, and Australia they've decided to go down a different distribution model. So they have the distributor is called EV Direct, and people order online. Yeah.
Matthew, I'm sure you'd argue a dealer offers a lot more than a direct model.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you, when something goes wrong with the car, you can turn up and see us, and not that we're expecting something to go wrong, but you've got that backstop of we're here 7 days a week. We've got significant investment in people and resource and facilities to be able to provide a much better buying experience than you get solely online. Now, of course, we will have a digitized sales process available for the product, but there's going to be the ability to touch and feel in a showroom. And at some point, the rent needs to be paid. So when you look at that difference in pricing with the Australian model, it's marginal, I would have thought, at best.
Let's just touch. I'll go to the Chinese prices just because I think the bigger actually thing online, and it's seen in the comments now, has been about the prices in New Zealand versus China. And I'm not trying to defend it here, but I'm going to just run out some real numbers because I think there was some confusion because the model range in China is a little bit different. We're basically taking almost the top spec in
Correct.
both. In fact, our top spec has almost more than their top spec in some ways. So our spec is equivalent to the 430k premium in the smaller battery, which is 150,274 yuan, which is New Zealand 37,431 before subsidies. EVs are tax-free in China, so you don't have to add that into the thing, so you've got to basically add 15% off. By the time you equate it out, it goes 37,400 to the equivalent of the New Zealand one post-GST is 45,041. You take off the subsidy, you're only paying about $2-3 grand more, I think, drive away than the model in China. That's equivalent. For the longer range, the gap is a little bit bigger, but then again, we've got some slightly better spec on ours. I think the only thing we miss is automatic parking. Have you got automatic parking on your own?
No, we don't. No.
So that's the only thing I think you pretty much missed off the top spec one out of China. And that one works out ultimately to a difference of 41,400 in China before subsidies to 49,291 in New Zealand. So again, for a business, I know this is a business buying. I guess I think in business terms, when you take the tax out of the situation, the gap does come down quite a lot. So that's just some numbers. People, I'm sure, will still have their views. And people, I think someone's pointed out here that the margin for that top spec model is a good thing. Someone here saying that dealers need to be more competitive when it comes to servicing and annual checks for an EV. We'll come back to that question soon. And again, we've got some stuff here that's going to come up as we go down the list. So we're going to go, it's in the list now. These questions aren't in any particular order, so we're going to jump, we'll bounce around a little. The first one, why doesn't it have heated seats and heated steering wheel?
Well, the great news is, Richard, we can actually install those things locally. If it really matters to someone that they want a heated seat or a heated steering wheel, we can do that locally. We have some really clever things that we can do around that. New Zealand was a little bit late to the party picking up this brand. We didn't have an opportunity to be involved with the spec with this particular model. We will, of course, going forward. But the car, I must point out, has a very highly efficient heat pump system. In my opinion, the heated seats are probably not needed. The Australians had a lot of development to do with the car, and as you can imagine, things are a little bit hotter in Australia. I think a heat pump system it probably takes more priority over heated seats when it comes to trying to keep the costs of the car down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a heat pump does make a big difference. Does it have pre-conditioning? Pre-cabin heating? Can you set that up at all?
Yes, so it is a feature that will be available through the BYD app in the future. The BYD app is still being developed for the market.
Right, okay.
Yep.
So we haven't had many questions about the app itself, so tell us what's happening with the app. So the car will have app connectivity.
That's right.
It'll have a 4G connection.
Correct.
What can you do with that app?
So the app is still under development for the Australian-New Zealand market. In the beginning, it will have some basic features, so you can expect to be able to wind down the windows and open the car boot from it and probably unlock the car. We are still working with the BYD factory to develop all of the features that we want to see for the market here. Okay. So it's a work in progress. There's lots of updates. And that's the great thing about BYD. They've committed to over-the-air free updates for the car for the life of the vehicle. So what the app does now, in 12 months' time, it'll be very, very different.
Mm-hmm. Someone's asked, what is the app called?
It's still to be decided, but it's the BYD Auto Owners app for the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not available for download. It's not on any of the stores yet.
Yeah. Rebecca Young said, it's bloody cold and they didn't need a heated seat. As a Northland resident,
we can install heated seats for you. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not a problem.
Okay. There you go. Now, the next question is probably the most popular question across it.
Right.
Tow bars. And you haven't got amazing views on this, do you?
No. Hey, look, I understand that. Look, in New Zealand, I see people put tow bars on all sorts of manner of vehicles. I saw an MX-5 with a tow bar. I've seen an MR2 with a tow bar. I've seen a smart car with a tow bar. We know New Zealand likes tow bars. It's a very, very different story in China. Tow bars aren't really a thing up there. We also have our own New Zealand standards and requirements for towing. We need to make sure anything that we fit to the vehicle is safe and fit for purpose. All right. While the engineers at BYD have said that the vehicle chassis can take up to 750 kilograms, we still need to understand what the effect of the tow bar will be in New Zealand, being that the car has not actually been designed to tow. So we need to make sure that the safety system is going to work, the braking system is going to work, and also making sure that a tow bar can be physically attached to the vehicle and take the downward force. So we have a very clever tow bar manufacturer here, and as soon as the car gets here, one is going to the design centre. Probably more importantly, people want a tow bar, in my opinion, or the feedback we've seen, to carry e-bikes and bicycles. So we are committed to being able to have a bike carrying option. As far as the tow bar is considered for sale in New Zealand, right now I'm not going to give a definitive answer on that. I'm not going to say yes. Right, if you ask me today, I'm going to say no. Will that change in the future? Quite possibly, but we'll keep everybody posted.
If the aftermarket comes up with a towing option, will that void the warranty? If you don't do one?
We will only support genuine tested products that we've been certified and that we know are safe and meet our rigorous standards. So I can't endorse aftermarket tow bars that haven't gone through. Safety is very, very important to BYD and also to us and our dealers. It's a priority.
Matthew, you guys have been taking some orders or some interest today. Has that towing bar thing been a bit of a question for you guys as well?
Absolutely, we have been. I mean, the orders today have been unprecedented. I don't think I've ever seen so many orders of a new model on one day. But towing hasn't been a massive question we've had yet. We've more been talking in terms of accessories around chargers. So, I certainly accept the question, and I think Warren's answered it really well about where tow bars are likely to get to. But, that style of vehicle is probably not one that we typically see a huge amount of tow bar installations when we look at that category of car with our other manufacturers, but we certainly do see some. So there is certainly a section of the market that will be keen for tow bars, but there's plenty of buyers out there as well that are not looking for a tow bar.
So look, it's not going to tow your horsefly if we do have a tow bar. But what I will say is BYD are not just here with one model. We do have a future product lineup, and we will have vehicles to suit every part of the market within a relatively short space of time.
Well, I mean, that's literally the next question. I mean, Julie and Mark Harrison have asked that. Appreciate if I could ask Warren if there will be 6, 7, or 8-seater BYD vehicles entering the New Zealand market within the next year.
Right, okay. Hey, look, I've been in the car industry a long time, probably not as long as Matthew, but it's been an interesting few years, especially when you consider what pandemics do and recessions and global supply of components. So I never like to talk more than 12 months out. With other brands, what we've been promised cars are coming, and they never eventuate. What I can say is it is BYD's aim to have a vehicle for every market segment and vehicles that are suitable for New Zealand. In the next product lineup, we are committed to bringing 2 new models to market. So one being a smaller car called the Atto 2. And you think
it's the Dolphin?
The Dolphin. Yeah. So it's a small hatchback, and that'll be a really affordable, highly spec'd hatch car.
When you say affordable, will we see it drive away in the 30,000 range?
I'm not quite sure we'll get to that cheap, but we're definitely going to make sure it is a very value proposition product and highly spec'd as well, right? So there's that car. About the same sort of time, we're going to have a high-performance sports sedan, and I'm very excited about that car, the Atto 4, or in other markets called the BYD Seal. It's a beautiful car. It's got some amazing technology. And who knows, maybe a little bit further out into next year, we might see a plug-in hybrid mid-size SUV, bigger than the Atto 3.
And
so, but someone's asking here about a 7-seater, right? Yeah. So within the next 12 months, no, you're not going to see a 7-seater.
But next 2 years?
Potentially. If we can, absolutely.
I'll go through the usual question. A ute?
BYD would love to have a product for every part of the market. All right, and utes are a big part of the market here. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one before the end of 2025.
So you've seen a busy day selling or taking orders for Atto 3s. How busy of a day would you have if there was a ute in the range, Matthew? Would you need to hire more staff?
Whoever comes to market with an electric ute with genuine carrying capacity and genuine towing range is away. We know the demand is there. We know that buyers want it. But, if we look at any brand around, the world, we're not seeing that technology anywhere yet. It is certainly coming. And I think, even when we look at the government clean car standards, they've certainly made allowances on the Type B vehicle for where industry is at in producing that type of vehicle. Yes, we all want it. We'd love it. We're all pushing for it. But time will tell when we see that type of product.
People are saying 7-seaters, 7-seaters, 7-seaters.
I'd love to have a 7-seater. And hey, this is all good feedback because we know that some of our friends in BYD are watching this live stream. So here you go, you're hearing it first. So
We've got someone who's on the phone to their local dealer at the moment.
I haven't heard it ring yet, Richard. So
bring it audible. Yeah.
No, exactly. Now I'm going to skip forward and grab a question just while we're talking on product.
Sure.
I haven't got the name right. The T2 van that they did bring a small number into Australia. We're not seeing it here, are we?
No, look, that product is available to order if we really wanted to. We'd have to put in a fairly large order. New Zealand is, when we're talking about global scale, China sell 27 million cars a year. We sell 150,000 new cars or thereabout. So to produce a handful of vans for a small market like us, we'd have to have some seriously strong orders. Personally, it's my preference probably not to bring that vehicle in because it's at the end of its life cycle. I can tell you there is a replacement for that van under development, and that is a product that we are likely to see within the next 12 to 24 months.
So sorry for all those people when there have been a number of emails asking for the T2, but just wait a little bit longer, Now, we'll jump to the next one from Richard Moylan. A couple of questions here about, these are for the EV nerds, of course, really important. I'll group them together. What's the kilowatt rating of the onboard charger? Can you set your charging, charge scheduling and so forth? So is there a timer? One of the bugbears with the MG product doesn't have one, of course. Let's start with those two questions, then we'll go on to the next one.
So there's two types of charging. You've got AC and DC charging, right? The onboard the AC charger is charging at a rate of 7 kilowatts, right?
Did you have an 11 kilowatt option that you could have taken?
No. I think generally speaking, most car manufacturers are going for 7 kilowatt onboard AC charger. It's pretty industry standard.
I think if you can tick an 11 kilowatt option, tick. I got really angry at a brand once. I was speaking to their product manager, and the difference in the buy price for them between having a 7 kilowatt charger on board and an 11 kilowatt charger on board was $300.
You're right. Hey, if it was available, you take the box, wouldn't you? Right? But saying that most people, if they're home charger options anyway, they're only going to be able to have a 7 kilowatt charger at home. So, as far as the DC is concerned, on the smaller battery pack, what we call the standard range vehicle, it can take up to 70 kilowatts on the DC, and then the extended range can charge up to 80.
That is a little bit behind the market with the way it's going. I mean, there's a chance that'll be updated later in software, or?
I think probably not for this product and some of the other product we've got coming, like the Atto 4 or the Seal. They definitely have faster charging options, but BYD are very, very proud of the battery technology that we've got. And the great thing with this product is you can pretty much charge this thing on a rapid charger all the time and not have to worry about battery degradation. So rapid charging all the time.
LFP for life, man. LFP is the battery formulation for New Zealand.
And that's a justification for it, right? So,
Okay. Now, can you set timing for the charging? Can you, set it to only start at 7 o'clock at night and run through at a certain time, or to only charge at 7?
I'll put a bit of asterisk on this one.
Yep.
So the answer is yes, but bearing in mind I've also been in the car industry a long time, and we need to wait and see what actually turns up here. Sometimes when you order cars from the factory, they don't come exactly as we expect them to, but as far as what we can see on the spec sheet, yeah.
And are you expecting that to be in the app as well, potentially?
Absolutely, and also based on what your home charger you've got set up as well. So depending on the charging options, we thoroughly recommend, while the car does come with a 3-pin charger from the factory, we prefer people to have a 7 kilowatt home charger. They're going to have a much better buying experience.
And you've partnered with an installer for those?
Yeah, that's right. So Wallbox is our chosen preferred or OEM approved supplier.
Shout out to Glen Inkster if you're watching.
That's the one. They've got a very good product that we know that works well and is well supported in New Zealand. So
fantastic. Now, a really big question is what sort of quantity of vehicles are you getting this year?
Well, so we ordered for what we thought. After today, so pricing went online today, and I think, Matthew, we're going to need a bigger boat.
I think we might need more than one boat, Warren. I mean, the demand we have seen has been phenomenal.
It has exceeded expectations.
Okay, enough fluff. How many? What's the number?
How many would you like? So we're quite fortunate that they have dedicated this right-hand drive production line. We have to fight with Australia with their demand. It's my expectation if you wanted to order an Atto 3 this year, you will have one before Christmas.
Okay. Right.
I'm not going to commit to exact
How
numbers.
long does that promise last for? I mean,
It's not only producing the cars, but there's also the major factor of getting the cars to New Zealand. I'm not sure if you've seen a map of the Shanghai port at the moment. It is incredibly hard to secure. It's incredibly hard to get the boats here.
are we talking hundreds this year, or will you get into four figures this year?
I will just reiterate, if you want an Atto 3, if you put a deposit down, we will probably be able to supply this year, but we've got hundreds of cars coming.
If you are ordered today, you're in the first couple of hundred. When will you get your car?
So, again, barring any shipping delays, so our first demonstrators are on the water. Our dealers can expect to have those in showroom at the end of July. I would like to safely say, barring any ship fires or boats sinking or any major worldwide event, customers can probably expect to take delivery early September.
Okay, right. Now, when you mentioned there we've got demonstrators coming, there'll be a demonstrator for each dealership.
Yes.
Do you just want to run through the list of dealers? Obviously, starting with Andrew Sims in Auckland.
Absolutely. So I'm really, really happy with the dealer network. I would argue that we probably have the best dealer network available in New Zealand. So in Auckland, we have Andrew Sims, of course, BYD Auckland. They have two stores, one here in Newmarket and another satellite store in Botany. In Hamilton, we have the Ebbett group representing us in Hamilton. There is a standalone dealership being built by the Ebbett Group in Tauranga for us. That'll be open by the end of August. In the meantime, there will be demonstrators available in Tauranga for a test drive. You just contact the Hamilton branch and they'll arrange that for you. Then we move down to the country. We have Wellington, so Johnson Ebbett there in Taranaki Street, a state-of-the-art, beautiful-looking dealership. And further down, we move to Euromark, Christchurch, right in the CBD there. And we will be opening a Dunedin store within the next 3 months. So that's what we call phase one. We want to get the main centres underway. We will be rolling out further stores throughout the country, probably by the end of the year or towards when we get some of those new models we spoke about.
Yeah. And a fairly extensive service network to go with that, I imagine?
Yeah, that's right. Well, most of our locations will be sales and service. So, we will have a store in Whangarei, we'll have a store in Hawke's Bay, we'll have one in Palmerston North, Nelson, Central Otago, and Invercargill. So probably about 15 all up.
Another question that's been repeated a lot is parts supply. You guys are going to have parts from day one and fairly good supply?
Absolutely. You cannot launch a brand without having parts, right? So that's absolutely critical to us. Parts and service. So all our technicians will be trained on vehicles very, very shortly. So our import company, we are not new to New Zealand. BYD is new to New Zealand, but my company that hold a master franchise here, we also represent several other brands. So we have a very large warehouse in Mount Wellington.
Massive, that warehouse.
It is. It's great. So we've ordered a lot of parts as well. And look, we'll never let a customer be off the road for very long.
I think that's the key, Richard. I mean, the big difference that we're seeing here with BYD is that it's partnered with a really established importer into the market. We obviously represent a number of the other brands at the moment, and the parts, distribution setup, the network, the team members, the warehousing is, at the top of the game with all mainstream manufacturers in New Zealand, whereas a new entrant brand like BYD without that backing and support would actually be very hard. And that's where we do sometimes see parts challenges with some new entrant vehicles. That's certain, that the after sale side of this business, I think owners and everybody on the stream can have really great confidence that you've got an established distributor, that understands the market and understands what to order and when to order it.
What's the service frequency?
So we do a 5,000 kilometre check, right, which actually nothing gets fitted to the vehicle for that, right? We just get the customer come back in, we'll check, make sure they're all happy with the car, and our technicians do a full over check. Past that point, it's every 20,000 kilometres or 12 months, whatever occurs first. Yep.
Now, one of the questions was, in the case of Tesla, while they have their recommended safety checks, it doesn't affect your warranty if you don't go in. Is that the same with you guys? Or
No, so the customers do need to come in every 20,000 kilometres, just like most car brands, and have their cars checked over.
We know roughly what the cost of one of those checks is going to be? Matthew might better answer this one. Yeah.
I mean, what we're seeing, Richard, with electric vehicles, obviously, is that servicing is considerably cheaper than internal combustion engine car. There's effectively less for the technician to do. So the labour time is considerably less. It's, typically no oil, no engine oil at least. There is considerable savings over internal combustion engine car. We haven't seen all of the details of the BYD service schedule yet, but to put that in perspective, I know with another brand, we've worked out the servicing costs over 3 years, and it comes to about $500 in total for 3 years. Whereas with a comparable internal combustion engine vehicle, you're probably looking at $500 in the first year. So there are considerable savings to be had, but we will just need to work through.
A related but super nerd level detail. Is the oil in the reduction gear assembly good for the life of the vehicle, or does it need to be changed?
Right, so I can answer this one. Now, I'm not a mechanic. In fact, last time I was in a workshop, I used a torque wrench as a hammer and they threw me out. But I do know the answer to this question. Yes, we changed the gear reduction oil at the 40,000 kilometre or 2 year mark. And yes, there is a filter in that.
Great. I gather that was an issue with another vehicle that was sold here. They didn't have that and caused some issues. So good to hear. I get that. Will you be nominating particular collision repair shops?
Absolutely. So as EVs are a fairly new technology. We need to make sure that every part of the car is looked after with factory training. So we will have a dedicated collision repair network that are trained to BYD standards to support the part business. Yeah.
Just going through, I think we've kind of covered your questions there, Mark, but feel free to go, Mark Buckingham, but feel free to go through if we haven't. So no tow rating as we've got. 7-seater question again. We've gone through all that.
I'll be listening, Mr. BYD.
Another request for a 7-seater or the T2.
Yep.
Will it tow? A T3 again. People really want that T3.
Yep. Hey, look, we will have a full suite of vans. Right?
Yes.
We're going to need to keep working on your Warren. We need a 7-seater that tows.
Right.
As a dealer, that's what we're asking for, I think, from the customer demand there.
Now, let's talk about the battery for a second. It is, of course, the famous BYD Blade battery.
Well, that's right. So I want to talk about BYD Blade batteries. I want to talk about BYD. So BYD, although they're a car company, they're actually a battery company first, right? They're the second or third largest battery company, and that's where they've started in the 1990s. So for anybody watching, there's a 1 in 5 chance that you will have had a BYD battery if you've had a Nokia phone or a Motorola phone. In fact, some other products here in New Zealand that people can buy today are manufactured by BYD for other famous brands.
And you can use a Nokia as both a hammer or a torque wrench.
That's right. And a wheel chock. So that's the real key to BYD's success, or one of them is the battery technology that they've got. These Blade batteries, in our opinion, they're the safest EV battery in the world. So they're the only EV battery that has passed the rigorous nail test. So if you want to Google something, you can Google BYD Blade battery nail test. They pierce it, it doesn't catch fire, heats up very slightly, maybe to 50, 60 degrees. They've actually run over a Blade battery with a BYD truck.
So that's cold for a Leaf battery, basically.
Yeah, that's right. And they do compare it. They've got some comparisons where you pierce another manufacturer's battery and it just explodes and catches fire. So they're very, very safe. They're a lot cheaper to manufacture. BYD are probably the most vertically integrated car company on the planet. So they own their own semiconductor plant, and they manufacture batteries not just for our cars, but for other manufacturers as well.
Okay. Is the battery liquid cooled?
Yes, it is, yeah.
What's the battery warranty?
So we have 2 warranties for the car. We have a bumper-to-bumper 6-year or 150,000 kilometre warranty on the car. The actual traction batteries have an 8-year or 160,000 kilometre warranty.
The 12-watt house battery, is that a lithium ion as well, or is that?
No, that's just a lead acid.
Just a standard lead acid.
Yep.
Okay. So that's right. Okay.
And 6 years of roadside assistance as well, I should add.
Okay.
To match it. Yeah.
Great. Now, just going back a little, a couple of follow-up questions. And just to reconfirm, because I heard you say it, but some people didn't hear it. The granny lead, the 3-point plug charger, that is included with the car.
Correct.
But the wall box is not. You've got to buy it.
No, the wall box is separate. We've partnered with a very, very good supplier here in New Zealand who can provide the technical support. But I believe, Matthew, you can also finance.
Absolutely. So, I mean,
the charger?
In terms of the chargers, we're actually going to have a number of solutions. So we've partnered with a large electrical contractor in Auckland for customers in the Auckland region. They've got 32 technicians or qualified electricians on the road. They're all well experienced in installing chargers, and particularly the wall box. And we will be offering fixed price wall box installs. So when you purchase a car, provided you meet a couple of criteria around your home install, there'll be a standard price, and you'll be able to add that to the purchase of the vehicle and your finance agreement. So all of our finance partners are happy to finance the charger as part of the car purchase and included in the payment. So, and we would highly recommend to anybody driving a full EV, and I'm sure with the viewers we've got tonight, they're all well aware of this, is that that wallbox charger or whatever brand of charger you use is far superior to I like your phrase there, the granny lead, actually, Richard. I've actually been running training for my staff on EVs all week, and I call it the emergency charge cable, because in my view, it is only for an emergency. And when you start looking at the speed of charge for a full EV, it's just not a practical solution. And we want our owners to have positive ownership experiences and be positive about EVs. And using the emergency charge cable is not the way to have a positive ownership experience. As a country, as we're transitioning to EVs, we need to get infrastructure in place for home charging. That really is key. And I know the building code's changing, that all homes have to be pre-wired for EV charging. It really is something that owners should be really conscious
and
of.
It's a relatively small investment when you consider that the EV charger is going to last for a long time in your building. I get asked the question quite often: how long do these things take to get charged? Now, I know a lot of our viewers here tonight are EV experts. Probably a lot of them know more about EVs than I do. But my mum's watching, and she's asked me this question. I haven't answered the question for her, so I'm going to go talk to her for the people who might not know. But if you think of the battery as a swimming pool, how fast it charges, how big a hose you're using. So that little granny charger that you're using is getting about 1.3.
1.4. Your
back from the wall.
running at 7 or 8 amp. So.
Right? So it's going to take a long time. It's a 50 kilowatt hour battery. So 50 kilowatts divided by 1.3. It's a long time. So that home charger will charge 7 times faster. But if you go to a public charger, it can charge up to 80 kilowatts an hour. So you'll get a good charge in an hour.
I can't talk on this matter because we've had an EV at home for 2.5 years and we're still using the granny lead.
No.
That's
I'll talk to you after this, Richard.
Well,
we'll talk about a fixed price install for you.
Glenn, are you listening?
The worst thing about that is I have a paid for, ready to go, ready to be installed, planned charger waiting to go, and I've just not got around to it. So
we can arrange install for you, I'm sure.
Anyway. One of my dirty EV secrets. Now let's talk about the infotainment for a second. It has that cool 12.5-inch screen.
Rotating screen. Famous rotating screen. It's great with TikTok pre-installed into it. So
TikTok pre-installed.
Absolutely.
Okay, right.
So that really is the heart of the car. It's a great gimmick, being able to turn and
But now there's some questions around what that's going to have to start, because initially there's no CarPlay or Android Auto.
Mm-hmm.
That is coming as an over-the-air update.
Correct. So,
will that be wireless or corded when it arrives?
Yep. So the cars are all coming with a SIM card, preloaded with a small amount of data on the SIM card. You can connect the car to the 4G network, and the updates will happen that way. You can also connect the car via a hotspot via your phone or via a network. The Apple CarPlay and Android Auto will be available for everybody that's bought a car. And that update is likely to happen sometime before Christmas, right? It should be Q4 this year, barring any licensing issues with Apple, which we're not anticipating.
Yep.
Yeah. The car will also, I think about September, the BYD App Store opens up, and there'll be a range of
so you can download things like
apps.
Spotify and Google Music. And
correct.
That kind of thing,
So I know why people are asking. They want to know whether the vehicle has a hardwired navigation system into it. So there is no physical navigation system in the car. Any navigation is done by third-party apps. So you'll be able to hotspot your car. Right from the web go, you're going to be able to Bluetooth your phone in there. But so
you'll be able to download, say, a navigation app from the BYD App Store.
Absolutely.
And is it an Android-based store?
Yeah, it's an Android-based store. Yeah.
And then it has GPS and of course the 4G connection in the car, so it can use the navigation based on.
Correct.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So everybody, if you're expecting Apple CarPlay, it will be in the cars. It won't be in there immediately. You'll have a couple of months driving around without Apple CarPlay, but that will just happen. And free updates for the life of the vehicle. Okay. We don't charge for them. Yeah,
that was a question about whether the updates were going to be charged. And also, and with that as well, that system has a dash cam system built into it?
Correct. Yes, it does. Yep. So if you look at the spec on the car, the level of spec, it might not have heated seats, but you've got a really excellent dash cam system. Yeah,
I've had a look at the system, and it's. I'm not going to say it's on the same level of Sentry, but I think it can utilise all of the 6 cameras.
That's right.
I think it's six cameras you've got on the model here.
Yep.
Driver assistance.
Lane keep assist, like everything that you expect on a 5-star safety rated car. Right, the spec is there.
You've opened a door that we have to deal with now.
I know I have.
Because there's been some controversy about this. A little bit of clickbait stuff floating around there.
Okay.
what's the situation with the safety rating? The car has not got a safety rating yet.
Correct.
But that does not mean it can't get the subsidy.
I'm going to take my time explaining this answer in at least two pieces. So, a lot of people think that you need to have a safety rating to import a car into New Zealand. So, ANCAP, Euro NCAP, all those NCAP programs, they are independent crash test organisations. Some of them are funded by governments or have some government shareholding, but largely they're independent. When you want to bring a car to New Zealand, or if you want to bring a car to Australia, what you need to do to bring those cars in is the vehicles need to be manufactured to a homologation or a standard. In Australia, it's called ADR, Australian Design Rules. Right, so that process is happening. New Zealand, we're very fortunate. We can take, because we've got an import type industry here, we can take a couple of different source markets. So our car, our Atto 3 already has European or ECE compliance. And this is where a lot of that cost that goes into, different from Chinese spec cars, that they have to meet these rigorous standards, millions of dollars to get the vehicle to comply to the safety standards required for this market. So yes, the car is safe. It meets all the required standards. Now, we don't have any control over ANCAP or Euro NCAP when they're going to test the car. What I can say is BYD is working with those organisations. Their testing is underway, and they will be releasing a result. We're not party to the result, but we are expecting a good result, and that should be published before the end of the year. In New Zealand, if you do not have a ANCAP or Euro NCAP result, the vehicle automatically gets assigned what they call a VSSR rating, which is a rating based on real-world crash data out of the University of Monash in Australia. And if there are no cars that have been crashed, it takes an aggregate average of the new car industry. So we know right from the word go that the car qualifies for the Clean Car rebate in New Zealand, which is the second part. People want to know, how can you import without a crash test rating? Well, it does. It automatically qualifies for a 5-star VSSR rating, and it will qualify for the Clean Car rebate.
I'll throw this one to you, Matthew. If someone ordered it today, and in the incredibly unlikely chance it doesn't get 5 stars, do they get the deposit back if they haven't taken delivery of the vehicle?
Absolutely, Richard. I mean, we'd 100% commit to that. I mean, we've had customers contacting us today to obviously place orders. At this point in time, I've got a half-finished showroom, don't really have any dedicated staff yet, and I don't have any cars to show them. So every deposit I'm taking at this point in time is refundable, subject to the car getting here, people touching, feeling, driving the car, and it being exactly what we've said it's going to be. Because I think Warren touched on earlier, I'm 98% confident that these cars will be exactly what the spec sheet's going to be, but we do occasionally from all brands see the spec turn up a little bit different, and we're not going to hold anyone to it. We want buyers that or owners that love the car and want to be in the car. We're not going to hold anybody to ransom. Now, having said that, once people have seen, touched, felt, driven the car, ordered it, registered, we've incurred some cost. They've signed a contract. At that point, we would be committing to the sale. But in the early stages, it's just a case of securing your build slot. And then we will obviously get cars, and we'll get all of the owners in to test drive and look at the car and touch and feel. And if it doesn't get a 5-star for any reason, however far you go down the process, if that's what we've discussed, we would refund the deposit.
Okay. Now, should the worst happen, insurance. We've had some questions through whether you've provided details of the vehicle to insurance companies so people can have a smooth process when they go to insure the vehicle. Is that something that's underway?
Yes, so a lot of the insurance companies use data, automotive data companies, such as JATO and Redbook. So they found out, they lifted their embargoes on the product this morning when we released the vehicle pricing. Okay. So that is available to the insurance companies.
The insurance company punches in the computer now. The car exists.
Theoretically, they should be able to look at it now. Yeah.
Okay. Right now, we're going to break the one rule of the internet. We're going to go to the comments.
Fun times. Hi, Mum.
And we're not going to answer everything, because obviously there's a lot of questions that we will have gone over. So we've covered active battery cooling, obviously. Someone at NZ now pointing out that it's -2 there, so they really need the seat heater.
That's right. We can do that for you, no problem.
Yep. Someone saying that the ANCAP 5 would turbocharge their sales in New Zealand. apparently brilliant. Yeah, move on from that. I think we've kind of covered the pricing, availability we've covered. Warren Buffett. He's involved in BYD, isn't he?
Well, he is. He's a very clever investor. In fact, I'd probably put him up as the world's #1 investor of all time. So he took a 10 or 15% stake back about a decade ago in the company. It was a bit of a gamble for him. His investment recently paid off by about 3,000% return on investment. So hey, it is a Warren Buffett-backed company, yeah.
Ross Walkham says, already ordered mine, the white one.
Very good. Hey, thank you very much. I just want to actually personally say thank you to everybody that's put deposits down today. It has exceeded expectation and just goes to show that we've chosen the right dealer network, as you guys have putting a big amount of faith in our product, and we do appreciate it.
And Ross is the first person to put your hand up and saying you've ordered yours in the list. I'm going to throw you one of the ChargeNet credits. So
That's a good idea.
If you flick me an email, richard@automediagroup.co.nz, Ross, I'll match that up and get you that arranged.
Any anagrams in there yet for Build Your Dreams?
There is. I'll come to some of those as we get there.
The thing I might add to that, Richard, is hopefully there's a number of people watching that are keen to order a BYD and have registered their interest on the BYD website, which obviously information has been fired through to the dealers today once pricing has been released. And we've all taken a significant number of deposits done and got some sales underway, but we are still in our infancy. We, as you say, we're sitting in our half-built showroom here, and I said before, we've got a relatively limited team, so not all of the customers have been contacted yet. So if you're watching the stream and you've registered your details, you're certainly not missing out. We certainly will be in contact, and I can probably speak for all of the dealers around the country and say that we are committed to getting in contact with every customer as soon as possible. We have a team of people that are going to be working Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and I can commit that we will contact all of the customers in the Auckland region at least once. If we can't reach you, we'll leave a message, but then we'll continue trying to contact you. But we'll make at least one contact attempt with every person that's registered on the BYD site, so that we can, of course, give you the opportunity to secure a build slot and pay a deposit and join these happy owners like Ross.
Now, from Tushel, how has the Shanghai lockdown affected delivery times? Well, BYD is not really in Shanghai, are they?
We've got factories around Shanghai. BYD have lots of factories. In fact, they have lots of business interests. They have many hundreds of different businesses. Shanghai lockdown has been an issue, mainly about moving things around, because our port is the port of Shanghai.
Right.
So the factory that the Atto 3 is produced is about 300 or 400 kilometres away from Shanghai, and actually getting the truck movements there have been a little bit tricky. Shanghai is starting to free up now, but the biggest issue is the port. So
Neil says, I would never have moved to an EV if it wasn't for this option. Do you think you'll challenge the competition to deliver quality and well-priced EVs? You're going to start a bit of a price war?
Look, we have bought the product in, as I said, at the most the best price point we can get, while still being able to have the dealers employ people and have the profits stay in New Zealand. So I guess I just want to put a shout out to Matthew and his team. He does say he's got a relatively small team at the moment. I'm sure there are some amazing EV experts out there. How are you going for start?
We are looking. We've got some ads up on Seek and Trade Me. You'll see. Hey, if you're on the EVs and Beyond podcast, you obviously have a significant interest in EVs. My email address is on the website. It's mwales@andrewsims.co.nz. Feel free to fire your CV through. We are looking to staff our team with a different group of people than you would ordinarily see in a car dealership. We are looking for people that are passionate about EVs, that love the product, that have good knowledge levels, and of course can deliver good customer service.
Do they get an Atto 3 as a company car?
If we've got any to sell.
It depends how many we have left, Richard. At the rate we're going, I think I will struggle to get to drive an Atto 3 at any point.
We're definitely going to need a bigger boat.
Retail demand first.
Is the August we've kind of covered this, but just to reinforce, is the August delivery availability relatively certain, or is September, October more realistic?
So I'll just go back to what I've said previously. If you're putting in a deposit down this week, you will hopefully get your car within the first week of September. Depending on the dealerships, and the boat might be coming in mid to late August, but then we've got to get the vehicles into the storage yard, out to the dealers. We've got local transport movements, and also these guys are selling a lot of cars, right?
And I guess you guys want Matthew to give a decent delivery experience to people.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't want to be trying to ram 50 cars a day out of the dealership. We want to be able to spend quality time with people, do a quality handover, and really build a relationship with the owners, because I think what we're seeing with BYD is we're seeing a lot of passion from people that are looking to buy them, and that's something that we can't take for granted, and it's something that we need to spend the time with the owners and the customers and build that relationship. And you don't do that by throwing you the keys and telling you your car's in the car park.
That's right. And also, we have a very stringent quality control, checking of the cars before they go out. So it's not a matter of just pushing these things through the workshop. We expect the technicians to go and take their time and make sure the cars are 100% correct.
Now, when will the demo car be available in Auckland? Was it July, you were saying?
Yep, so about the last week of July, barring any hold-ups with the shipping, but I say the boat is on the water, and it's due to come.
Yep. As Tricia Lane, the Tauranga dealership is under construction. It'll be later this year.
So that should be open hopefully end of August. But as I say, we will have cars located in Tauranga for private viewing and test drives.
Someone says bring the BYD buses, but they're already here. So
BYD buses are here. They've been here for a while. Yeah, different distributor, different importer. Yep.
David Allen Graves mentioned there will be a showroom in Christchurch.
Yes, there is a Christchurch showroom is open. It's
Ben Fairweather, who I'm going to take a while, I guess might actually work there, has said, Euromark on St. Asaph Street. So
that's the one.
The
signs aren't up yet.
They're answering their own questions in here. It's really handy.
We will have signage. We're actually importing BYD signage made by the factory. So that's on a separate boat. That'll take a little while to come.
Yeah. We've got an anagram, dubiously marred. I'm not sure why you go there, but 0 to 100, I think it's 7.3,
7.2. Yeah, we'll try that out when it comes
only
here.
0.4 slower than a Model Y, and a Model Y's got about 100 kilowatts more power, so I'm trying to work that one out. Someone they're answering again. 7.3 seconds, fast enough.
There you go. Look, you can get all the spec online on our website, BYDauto.co.nz.
Another anagram, I dab murderously. Now that's one for TikTok. Elvis Wong asks, would BYD consider opening its own service centres or building its own dealerships here?
So we partner with Kiwi-owned operators, so we will always do that. Our dealers are building showrooms. We obviously, as I mentioned, we plan to have up to 8 models within a few years. So some of the locations where the dealers have them at the moment, they're going to need to have more space.
One for Matthew, and I think this one is one that people are used to dealing with. Tesla are problematic, but this is something that the normal dealers can handle. Trade-ins.
Absolutely. So, everything you get from a normal buying experience is available for us. So we run a number of large used vehicle operations, as do most of the dealer network. But when I look around the dealer network that Warren's appointed, there's just a room full of really good quality dealers. Everybody knows how to trade a car. Everybody's got a good used vehicle operation. Everybody's got finance, accessories, everything is available. It's going to be quite different than what you may have seen with some of the other brands trying to do more of a direct strategy. I think all of us will have online e-commerce, and pretty sophisticated digital dealerships available as well for those that wish to go down that pathway. But we are certainly going to be down that sort of omni-channel approach of either dealing with us digitally or in dealership with trade-ins, finance, whatever you want to do.
Ben Fairweather says, Surrey, Buddha, limo. Getting there.
There we go. We got 24 hours, guys. So
Mark Jackerman's pointed out, as I did, and I think other people have too, that the $5,000 gap for the highest spec batteries are pretty good gap. I've had it. Someone appreciates the price explanation. I don't think we'll talk about the Australian experience. I think that's for Australia to discuss.
Yeah, we're a different market, and those guys have a really good operation, and we work closely with the Australians and give them a shout out. They're doing a bloody good job. They've got a lot of pre-orders in their system as well.
Yeah. Someone's pointing out this price argument between Australia comes up again. I guess we've kind of touched over that. Someone's pointing out that New Zealand has a free trade agreement with China. Well, it's relevant anyway. New Zealand doesn't have tariffs on imported vehicles. But I don't think there's tariffs on vehicles in Australia either.
I don't think so.
No.
I can't speak for the Australian market. We have priced the cars as tight as we can get them. But we're in business as well, right? So.
Yeah. Now, Lewis Marimus says, "Build your dreams, buddy. Our realism." That's not bad. Getting there.
Yeah.
Ben Featherwest says, how can it be top spec without karaoke? But then I'm guessing from the App Store, you pretty much guarantee there's going to be a thing. And I'm not sure that the Tesla Model 3 has TikTok.
That's right. Hey, look, that would have been a box that I would have personally ticked. I've been known to frequent a few karaoke bars after a few whiskies, but yeah.
Trisha says, the colours are expensive.
Yeah, hey, look, I think they're probably in line with what some of the other car brands charge. I mean, yeah, paint is expensive.
Another anagram, Audi mould berries. What's the story with that guitar string? The guitar string, my toddler is going to go nuts for the guitar string.
Yeah. Hey, look, so the interior design of the car is different. I'll put it out there. It actually looks a lot better in the flesh than it does in the pictures. It works a lot better when you see the car. So the car has been designed with a gym theme. So you'll notice that on the dash, it's got like muscle sinew or dragon muscle sinew. The air vents are supposed to be like the barbells off the end of a thing, and the guitar really does look like a guitar. It's supposed to represent the music that you go along and you exercise to. So
I think one thing I think was pretty cool about the spec, and I noticed that comparing to China, you've got it across the range, but something on the top spec in China, you've got the multicolour lights inside.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the sound system is just absolutely stunning in that car. It really is.
Yeah. Now, I want short answers for this because we're nearing an hour.
Yeah.
Or we've cracked over an hour, actually.
Have we? Oh, geez.
So, and this is a good question. These are actually really good questions coming through now. Will BYD support the installation of telematics for fleet buyers?
Yes.
Will there be any apps for that, do you think, through the store?
Yes.
Because I guess there's Android-based apps for that anyway.
Yes. Well, that's right. There are telematics. I mean, the car has telematic functions itself. Those will be developed for the Australian New Zealand market accordingly.
Okay.
But that's the great thing about over-the-air updates. You know, this technology will grow and develop, and you'll get the benefit of that as the car develops.
Now, I kind of know the answer to this, but we'll let you go for it. Will the car suspension be tuned for the New Zealand market, or Australian market for that matter, and what tyres will be supplied with the vehicles?
So right now, the tyres that come on the vehicle are a Linglong manufactured tyre. The tyre meets all Australian New Zealand standards. We have no... we won't be changing that as the importer distributor. If the customer wants a different tyre option, the dealers can sort that out for them. Just like if they want an aftermarket mag wheel option, I'm sure the dealers can source that. So,
run me through the safety spec very quickly. How many airbags? It's got a centre airbag.
It's got 7 airbags, lane keep assist. My God, I've been looking at spec sheets forever. Everything's available online, Richard. Just go to BYDauto.co.nz and have a look. Autonomous braking, radar cruise control.
The adaptive cruise control, can it pull away from a stop in traffic? Is it traffic jam?
Yet to be tested by me personally.
Okay.
I'm waiting. I'm actually going to go drive a car in Australia next week, so I will report back.
Roof racks?
So roof racks aren't available currently, but I do have a range of accessories that will come with the car. So we have mud flaps coming. We have a cargo liner. As I said, we've got a bike carrier coming. We'll be able to tint the windows. We have monsoons as factory accessories. And we will work with New Zealand suppliers for any gaps that are missing. So,
and of course, aftermarket heated seats available in New Zealand, just to clarify that again.
Yes,
correct.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
What I can tell you is the roof is rated to carry only 50 kilograms. So that's why we're developing a bike carrier for the rear of the vehicle, right? Because I know e-bikes are a little bit heavy, and people who buy EVs generally like to buy e-bikes as well.
Audrey builds more. Rude Boys Mud Lair. Someone really
Imagine seeing a car walk around with that on the back of it.
Mark Jackerman says, do like the bike carrying option. Is there a cabin light in the back of the passenger area?
I believe so. But although I actually have only sat in the car for a brief amount of time.
Okay.
It's very hard to get to China. Usually we would go to China and actually review the cars up there, but there's a 3-week quarantine lockdown before we can even get out there. But I'll be posting a review of the car online. Actually, there's some Australian reviews. You can go and have a look.
Leon, I think we've already answered the yes, the BYD Dolphin is coming, but called the Atto 2, and the PHEVs are maybe being considered.
PHEVs are definitely a big part of BYD Auto New Zealand's future.
Okay. A lousy murder bid.
There's a lot of murder going on there.
Rumours died ably. Yes, Ben, orders are open and you should get in touch with your dealer if you're in Auckland. Matthew's team is sitting over there and pretty happy to speak with you. I lumberyard you. That's a fun one. Just a difference of 20k with Tesla Model Y, which also has great resale value. My question is, why should someone choose BYD on top of a Model Y? I can answer this question. I bought an MG ZS EV. I didn't buy a Model 3. Everyone asked me, well, you should have bought a Model 3. I didn't have the $20,000 to spend buying the Model 3.
Hey, look, there are a lot of different car brands out there,
Yeah.
and not every car brand suits every person. But what I can say is BYD have a very good global approach. They're actually supplying batteries to Tesla that will be fitted to Model Y vehicles.
Yep. So Rich Eaton says, yes, Atto for ASAP. Couldn't agree more.
I can't wait for that
car. When is the seal coming? I think we're talking next year.
Yeah, so Q2, Q3 next year, barring any hold-ups, yeah.
More 7-seater requests. People aren't listening. Bring on the Ute, Warren, says Josh Headley. Kiwi EV Adventures cheated and used an anagram creator, so they've got Loud Bruised Mary. When will we see TV advertising for Atto 3? I understand you're filming one when the car arrives.
Correct. Yep. So, hey, there is international footage. BYD is a New Zealand-owned company here in New Zealand. Import, all our dealers are owned, so it's important to me personally that we film the vehicle in New Zealand conditions. So you'll see some really cool advertising.
Sean Mendes asks, says it'd be a massive seller for fleets. You will supply fleets because I know Tesla has restrictions on how many they put into individual fleets, but you guys will supply.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. And of course, just talk to your local dealer for that, or
Correct.
head office thing.
Yep. No, we partner with the dealer network, so our dealers are equipped. And Matthew runs his own fleet team here, as does our other dealers.
So we've got 3 or 4 people in our fleet team that will be able to assist any fleet inquiry, and most fleet buyers will probably have a relationship for either lease company or a dealer with one of our fleet team, or if they're in a different part of the country, with relationship with the fleet team in that dealership. And again, you look at the dealer network that's been appointed, they're all large, established, well-run dealerships that will have that fleet option that will be able to assist.
Now, someone's watching and still working this time of night. Crystal says, Ben Spellman, flick me an email. We're taking orders at Andrew Sims, kpetty@andrewsims.co.nz. So if you're in Auckland, send an email there, and I think Crystal's somewhere over there, and she'll get you in the list. I think we've answered the Apple CarPlay. One pedal driving, does it do it?
We have 3 settings available, I believe, on the regenerative braking.
Yeah.
Right. So,
to my mind, one pedal driving, and people may disagree with this, is generally basically just cars automatically taking you to the highest regen setting.
That's right.
Someone's saying that Aussie gets 1 more year of battery of warranty than we do.
Australia is a different market with different conditions, right? New Zealand's a lot colder climate. We've set the warranty for what we believe is appropriate. I think 6 years is, if someone's holding on to a car for 6 years, that's a good length of time.
Yep. I'm getting more love for LFP here. LFP for life. British Leyland flashbacks. That's an anagram.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Do we have you talking about fixed price home charges?
Absolutely.
Got a figure for that? Ballpark.
We're going to have 3 options, Richard. So at this point, the entry level charger is going to be 3,495. The wall box, which is our, probably our preferred charger, is going to be 3,995, and we have a Siemens option at 4,495. Now that is based on the switchboard for your house being in your garage, it having spare capacity for another circuit. We include with that all of the labour, all of the cabling, all of the truncation. We also include a Type A RCD, and we also have that set up with load monitoring so that we can throttle the charger back if you're using extra power in the house, which I've seen a lot of chargers being installed by people that probably haven't had a lot to do with chargers before, and of people flipping the main fuse in the house or having other issues. So, again, our team of Sparkies doing that are all well experienced with working on car chargers. We're probably doing 5 to 10 installs a day at the moment.
Oh, wow.
So, there's big demand for that. And being that fixed price, you just easily add it to your contract. If you don't meet that criteria, they've got fixed pricing for every, for an extra metre of cabling, for putting a subboard in. And to give an indication, we had a client the other day that wanted to install their charger outside. It was 8 metres rather than 6 metres. They didn't have space in their board. We'd put a little plastic subboard in, and it cost them an extra $402 plus GST. So we're not talking big additional costs.
Yeah. Your Bud's Real Dim. That's one. Will there be a showroom in Wellington? Yes. Go to the BYD website and it'll all be there.
166 Taranaki Street.
How much is the deposit at the moment?
That depends on the dealer.
Okay.
So
What are you charging, Matthew?
We're taking $500 as a holding deposit for the vehicle. Obviously, at this point, that's refundable, subject to test drive and viewing the car. We think that's probably comparable to most people in the market. If we look at our other brands, typically where people can see, touch, feel a car, we're taking a $2,000 deposit.
Gotcha. Is there electric tailgate? Yes. Something that's missing from the lower spec Chinese one when you compare
I
the
wasn't
pricing.
expecting this level of questions.
I know. Tesla has ludicrous mode, but I'd rearrange Build Your Dreams as My Ludo as Ride Bro. That might be hard to see. I don't know.
We're going to see some crooked letters on the back of these cars, aren't we?
Someone wants a Whangarei dealer.
So hey, look, Whangarei is definitely on the cards.
Warren used to be called the Van Geek. Do we now call him the Dream Geek?
Somebody called me Captain Atto today.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to remember that one, Warren. Or Captain Atto.
The Van Geek will stay. Look, we will have vans. So, yes, I am known in the industry as the Van Geek. But yeah,
I don't know if this is really a question, but and I would be surprised if this. Someone keeps saying or asking or saying, I don't know. I'm wondering if they're a bit of a troll, but do the wiring harness come from the Ukraine?
No.
But let's get that one off.
The cars are manufactured in China. Most of the componentry comes from China.
I think we've covered off the wall box now. I've covered the 7-seaters a dozen times. Towing covered. War in Australia. We've done car servicing. We're rolling through them now.
Yep. Hey, if we haven't covered off anything, you can feel free to send us an email or get in contact through our Facebook page or through our website, or you can contact one of our local dealers who'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
Yep. The charging port's on the driver's side forward of the door.
Correct.
Same as an Audi e-tron. And a push take-in. So you're basically buying an Audi e-tron, aren't you? In a tiny
I didn't say that, but you know.
Warren Fitness included for X number of years.
Yeah, so you get a new car Warren Fitness, which lasts for 3 years. Okay. Right. Past that point, no, but yeah.
We've covered the tyres. We've covered the. Will the BYD service technicians be fully qualified in time? I believe you've got a trainer coming down. Is that right?
Yeah. So look, all of the dealers that we have appointed have highly trained EV technicians that work across multiple brands. They have to have EV qualifications to even touch one of these cars. Our first cars arrive in July, and we are flying all the technicians up for full technical training with us in our factory.
Okay.
I might just add to that, Richard.
Yep.
Sorry, I know we're trying to get going, but just really quickly that there is actually an NZ QA qualification.
Correct.
For light electric vehicle technician. It's at the same level as what has been the traditional light automotive mechanical trade qualification. We've committed with our staff that we already have a number for it, but all of our technicians can get the ability to retrain in that qualification. Mm-hmm. If they already have their light automotive mechanical, it's only a 1-year course, and we're funding that for all of them. We have a significant number already through it, and all of our new apprentices are now we're looking to put them down the pathway of the electric vehicle qualification. So awesome. That is, the industry and the industry training organisations with Maito have done a great job at putting that training in place, and you can rest assured at most large franchise dealerships there will be technicians that are specially qualified in electric vehicles now.
I'm just going to add on to that. We also will be providing a full extrication manual to Fire and Emergency New Zealand, and if they choose to uptake it, we'll provide training for the emergency services as well.
Fantastic. Going through a lot of positive comments here. I think all the questions when we get down this far. Okay. Service technicians all covered. Batman, so you're getting different. That's a great name for a time.
Well, that is. I'm actually yet to see whether they actually have Batman on them, but they are made by Linglong, the car manufacturer. So that's a cool.
Is it Type 2? Yes, it's Type 2. It's Type 2
CCS. Yep.
None of that Chidemo stuff. We've discussed the suspension tuning. 10K more to buy a Model 3 seems more reasonable. I actually don't think that gap really exists anymore. I think the Model 3 is going higher than that. People are saying it's not cheap for the extended range. I guess that's debatable. I don't think you were able to tell me whether the Android Auto is wireless or wired.
Wireless Apple CarPlay.
Right.
Android Auto, I can't tell you that. We will wait to see for the updates. I assume it will be.
We've covered the safety. Dash cam standard is brilliant. Dress the element of the room now, please, ANCAP. We've discussed that. Someone pointing out that, since when was it 62K for a Tesla? It ain't anymore. We've covered off that. So we're just getting near the end.
I can't believe the number of questions we've got here.
People are...
That's great.
Brendan Heinrich says, have ordered one today. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Brendan. You won't be disappointed.
More comment on the pricing. More requests on Atto 4. Wait, what? A guitar string? Yep, that's it.
So on that might not have been clear. The door pockets on the car, the space, and the magazine holders are bright red, and they actually play a little tune.
Yeah. Someone's pointed out that the transmission shifter is like in a jet fighter, which I like.
Yes, it is.
The blue whale vein thing. I think he's talking about the dragon.
The dragon, yep. So, and I'll speak a little bit about that. So this car actually comes from a series of cars called the Dynasty cars. So in other markets, it's called the Yuan. They have other cars called the Tang. The future cars I'm talking about are, you've mentioned Dolphin and Seal, and Seal Line as future models. So those come from the Ocean series. So this car is a little bit of a crossover from the Dynasty series. For Australia and New Zealand market, we're calling it the Atto series.
Does BYD intend to be on the all of government approved vehicle list? I imagine you're probably already on that little project.
Hey, look, that's a RFP tender that goes out. I will say we have been contacted by multiple government departments, and I have had discussions with MBIE, but that's a commercial. I can't really comment too much further on that.
Mark Jacobins asked, "Can I come with you to Aussie to drive it?"
Sunday, the 3rd of July, I'm flying across. So if you can get a plane ticket, come and have a look. I'm sure.
Hard at the moment.
Look, the Australian Sydney showroom experience is open to anybody who wants to go have a look. And we do know we have had Kiwis fly over and have a look, and some of our dealers have flown over to have a look. So
now, can we say this anagram? Sorry.
Well, it's your show, Richard. I don't. It's your show.
Let's not.
No.
Let's not.
Everybody can read that in the comments.
I think that broke the rule.
Yep. We might stop it there.
Yep. Quickly running through, see something else. BYD Auto, Crystal, there we are. Nearly there, I think. Geez, this just goes on and on.
Yeah. All right.
I think we can call it there now. Who am I going to give my second prize to? I think I'm going to give it to Rebecca Young, simply because you asked the most questions and placed the most comments of all of this, and it's a kind of little bit of a consolation prize for having to live in -2 in Dunedin at the moment. I think that's pretty much it. We're just down to lots and lots of comments about how cool the car looks and good stream and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Any last comments from you guys before we shut this off?
I just want to reiterate my thanks to the New Zealand buying public to have the confidence to actually put the deposits that have come through today. It's really exceeded our expectations. Based on what we've seen, I've said it before, we're going to order some more cars. But if you want a car before Christmas, please do get in touch with one of our dealers. And thank you for the opportunity to have a chat. And thank you for all your questions.
I think I need to reiterate what Warren said. I mean, we just need to thank everybody for the support we have seen in the last 24 hours since the release has come out. It's absolutely amazing just how many people have got in contact. As I said earlier, we have been struggling to keep up, but we'll commit to get in touch with everybody over the weekend. I hope everybody appreciates we are still on launch and a setup phase here, and hopefully seeing our half-built showroom helps with that tonight. So we'll be opening our showroom here at some point in early to mid-July. It will be before the cars get here, so we'll have our team here able to answer your questions, and if you want to sit down and have a conversation. But we will be on the phone and the internet and the email over the next few days, taking deposits and answering your questions. And we will be launching our website with full e-commerce at some point in the middle of next week. It's being built out of Australia, and they're actually flying over to New Zealand on Monday to sit in my office until it is live. So it's not far away. And I think all the other dealers are probably in a similar boat. We've all really amazed with the inquiry we've had over the last 24 hours, and just be with us a few days as we get up and running. Mm-hmm. But we will be in contact. We do really appreciate you wanting to talk to us, and we look forward to meeting you all.
So yeah, before I wrap up, a little bit of a personal note. I just want to say hello and acknowledge my my uncle Robert, who's I think he's going to watch this tomorrow because he had a stroke a few weeks ago and he needs to go to bed early. But he's committed to buying one. He's got I think pretty much private car number one rolling in Warren.
He's on the list, the blue one. I've allocated one for Uncle Robert.
Him and his wife Margaret are incredibly excited about that, and it's great that they're joining us in the EV space. But look, thank you so much to Warren and Matthew for joining us tonight. So pretty rare to get this kind of just direct access to the car brands, and we want to try and do more of it through the site. So don't forget to like the Facebook page, jump on the YouTube channel, and subscribe to that, because as soon as we get our hands on one, we'll have a really good video up there covering that off. And don't forget to go to evsandbeyond.co.nz and sign up for the email newsletter. You're probably already all on it because you've got this, but it's a really great way to stay in touch with the EV community. But yeah, we'll shut it off there, and thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.